Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth video of this tutorial series. In this shorter video, I just wanted to show off some of the solid tools that we can use in order to add details to our Rhino models. First tool that I wanted to show off is the Fillet Edge tool. Now if we select this tool in our drop-down menu in the Solids menu, it's going to ask us to select edges of fillet. And when we select these edges, what it means is that it's going to take away the sharp edge of each of the solids and create a rounded edge instead. And at the corner where each of these edges intersect, it's going to create a rounded vertex. Now, if we undo this and take a closer look at the fillet edge, let's just select one. There's a few options that we can select in the top command box. One of the more important ones is the add handle command. Once we do this, it will allow us to create different depths inside of our fillet. So we can make one depth much deeper than the others. If we select enter after editing this one radius, you can see that the middle of the fillet is much deeper than the exterior ones on the edges. Now let's take a look at this actual solid and check out some of the actual solid tools that we can use. One of the first tools is the shell command, which is pretty much just going to hollow out your solid. So it just asks you to select a face. When you hit enter, it's going to create a hollow box from our box. But you can use this for multiple different solids inside of your project. Another tool that we can use, let's say we wanted to add a hole to the top of our object. You select the target surface, and it's going to give us an outline of a hole and allow us to edit different attributes of it. So our diameter is a little too big, so let's make this 2. And the depth is 13.3438, which is about the depth of this box, luckily. So when we select enter, you can see that a hole is taken out right where we put it on top of that line. And another important tool is the wire cut tool. So when we go to the wire cut command here, it's going to ask us to select a cutting curve. I've already highlighted one on the top here, or drew one on the top here. And it asks us to select an object to cut, which is the box. When we have that, we just pick enter, select the depth that we want to cut to. About there is fine. And then extrude out how much you want to cut out of the original shape. So if I wanted more of just a thin line that represents what we drew earlier, we can do that. Or if I want to hollow out the whole thing, I can just extrude it all the way over here. It's going to give you a preview. You hit enter, and then it creates that cut. Now, let's move over to the next box and look at some other tools. The chamfer tool is pretty similar to the fillet tool in the sense that it's going to edit the edges of our object, but instead of making them round, it's actually going to create a sharp edge to each of our surfaces at a specific angle. The last tool I wanted to show off is actually the blend surface tool, which is going to allow us to create organic surfaces from very rigid solids. So if we pick blend surface and select edges that we want to work on, so let's just go with this one and this one down here. It's going to create a surface that we can edit using these sliders and different points. And based on what you want, you can actually pretty much create any type of curve that you want. So let's just leave it like this. That looks good. Now, how can we make this back into a solid? We can use the extract surface tool to remove this inner part, delete it, and then select edge surface to cap off these edges here. Hit enter, do it on the other side. To repeat the command, just click the right mouse button, edge surface on this side too, and then we can select our whole object and click join. Lastly, going back to our original box here, we can take a look at the move face and split face command that are pretty helpful for readjusting the shapes of our solid. If we select the move face command here and select faces that we want to readjust, what this command will allow us to do is simply re-extrude a surface back to a height that we desire. So you wanted to do this on the side of this box, you can actually choose the split face command, select the surface, and split wherever you like, and then that'll create two separate surfaces here. Then if we tried to move this face, we can actually select it individually. Now, using all of these tools, let's try and put this into an example and create a kind of chair-like object using a sphere. Let's go to solid, choose a sphere, and just make it any size. Let's go into our right view and create a curve that we want to split through it. So I want the chair to look something like this. That's where it's going to split, and that looks good to me. Go back to our perspective view. Let's move this over and extrude it. Extrude it through the shape. That looks good. And then we can use Boolean split to separate them. Select surface or polysurfaces to split. We want to split the circle. Hit enter, select the cutting plane, which is that. And the cut's been made, so we can then delete this and this, and also delete the curve too. Now let's use the hollow out shell command here. Select the circle, let's just use a thickness of 1. Let's do a radius fillet on the side. We have to make this a smaller fillet since the thickness of the shell is 1. And let's select all of those curves there, hit enter, and it's going to create a fillet around it. Then the last thing I want to do with this is use the cage edit command, which is going to allow us to edit the organic shape of this circle. So we can select a bounding box, 4 points, hit enter, and now we have control points that we can work with in order to manipulate the shape of this chair. So let's turn off Gumball for a second. Select these points here to get a flatter back on the chair, and just move them inwards a little bit. And as you can see, now it looks a lot more suitable as a chair rather than just a circle. And that's it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to be covering layers and texturing, and that'll be the last video of the tutorial series. Thanks for watching.